Good day! I am Mark David Mahosay and I am here to talk about Aristotle's virtue ethics. So what is virtue ethics? Virtue ethics is a moral theory developed by the ancient Greek Aristotle. Instead of asking what should I do or what kind of person should I be, like other theories like deontology that focuses on rules or utilitarianism that focuses on outcomes, virtue ethics focuses on building good character and habits that leads to a flourishing life or eudaimonia. Here's an example.
Philosophies, ethicists Mark White and Robert Arp refer to the film The Dark Knight, where Batman has the opportunity to kill the Joker. Utilitarians, White and Arp suggest, would endorse killing the Joker. By taking this one life, Batman could save multitudes. Deontologists, on the other hand, would reject killing the Joker simply because it's wrong to kill. But a virtue ethicist would highlight the character of the person who kills the Joker. Does Batman want to be the kind of person who takes his enemies' lives? No. In fact, he doesn't. So, virtue ethics helps us understand what it means to be a virtuous human being. And it gives us a guide for living life without giving us specific rules for resolving ethical dilemmas.
The concept of telos purpose, Aristotle believed everything has a telos, a purpose or goal. For human, our telos is to live a good life, which means living in line with reason and virtue. This goal is called eudaimonia, often translated as happens, flourishing or living well. Example, a knife purpose is to cut, while a human purpose is to live rationally and virtuously.
Let's take a seed. The telos of a seed is to grow into a beautiful flower. Once it has grown into a flower, it has reached its telos. This is also the case with inanimate objects. If we take a knife, the telos of a knife is to cut. If a knife is able to cut when a human wants it to, then it has reached its telos and it's fulfilling its purpose. If it cannot cut, then it's not fulfilling its purpose and it is a bad knife.
Virtue as a habit. Virtue is not something we're born with. It's developed through habit and practice. We become brave by practicing courage, honesty by telling the truth, and kind by helping others regularly. Example, you don't become generous by giving once but by giving often wisely.
Practical ethics, learning to be good. Aristotle emphasized that ethics is a practical way to study to become a good person, not just to gain knowledge. For example, a teacher doesn't just teach kindness, they show it daily how to treat students and how to treat colleagues.
The four cardinal virtues, Aristotle emphasized these core virtues.
First, prudence.
Wise decision making. Next, temperance, self-control or moderation. Next, courage, managing fear with bravery. Next, justice, giving others what is due.
I am Sam Gabriel Compuesto, and I am here to talk about intrinsic and instrumental goods. So what is intrinsic and instrumental goods? First, intrinsic goods. Value for their own sake, happiness and knowledge. Second, instrumental goods. Value because they lead to something else, money and obedience. Here's an example. Money is instrumental. It helps by things, but ancient happiness itself. Friendship is both. It brings joy and support.
So, to dig deeper, let me show you some video about intrinsic and instrumental goods.
Everyone wants to live a good life, but what does it mean to live a good life? To answer that, we need to get clear on what good means. When we say something is good or valuable, there are two different things we can mean. We might mean that something is good for its own sake, or good period. Alternatively, we might mean that something is good insofar as it serves its purpose, or that it's good because it helps us get something else. These two different kinds of goods are what philosophers call intrinsic goods and instrumental goods. To better understand this difference, let's look at some examples. Think about money. Is money good? Well, it's good, but only because we can use it to buy other things. It's not good all on its own. That is, it's not intrinsically good. No one wants money just for money's sake. People want money because they can use it. It serves a purpose. It helps them get what they want. So we can say that money is instrumentally good. But now consider a different example. Happiness. Most people want to be happy. But why? What is happiness good for? Or to put it another way, why do you want to be happy? You might have a hard time answering this question because it's a strange question. We don't want happiness because it gets us something else. We want to be happy simply because we want to be happy. It seems that happiness is good for its own sake. It's intrinsically good. Philosophers can argue about which things are intrinsically good and which things are merely instrumentally good. But the important point here is that now you know the difference between those two terms. Something is intrinsically good when it's just good. Something is instrumentally good when it's good for some other reason.
Happiness is an ultimate goal. Aristotle said we all seek eudaimonia, a life of fulfillment through virtue and reason. It's not just about feeling good, but being good. To further understand about this, let me give you an example about a person. A person who is respected, fulfilled, and lives with integrity, likely achieving eudaimonia. Not because they are rich nor famous, but because they live virtuously.
Doctrine of the man, Aristotle said, every virtue lies between the two vices, one of excess and one of deficiency. This is called the golden man. Example, courage lies between recklessness, too much, and cowardice, too little. Generosity is between wastefulness and shyness. Example.
Bubble for some flash philosophy. Walking home from a movie, you see a person being mugged. What is the courageous action for you to take? Your impulse might be to say that a courageous person would run over there and stop the mugging because courage means putting yourself in harm's way for a good cause, right? Well, No. A virtuous person, in the Aristotelian sense, would first take stock of the situation. If you size up the mugger and have a good reason to believe that you could safely intervene, then that's probably the courageous choice. But if you assess the situation and recognize that intervention is likely to mean that both you and the victim will be in danger, the courageous choice is not to intervene, but to call for help instead. According to Aristotle, courage is the midpoint between the extremes of cowardice and recklessness. Cowardice is a deficiency of courage, while recklessness is an excess of courage, and both are bad. Aristotle said that you definitely can have too much of a good thing. So being courageous doesn't mean rushing headlong into danger. A courageous person will assess the situation, they'll know their own abilities, and they'll take action that is right in the particular situation. Part of having courage, he argued, is being able to recognize when, rather than stepping in, you need to find an authority who can handle a situation that's too big for you to tackle alone. Basically, courage is finding the right way to act. And a lot of the time, but not all of the time, that means doing a thing that you know you're capable of, even if doing it scares the pants off of you.
Here's the conclusion. Aristotle's virtue ethics teaches that to live a truly good life, we must build a good character through habit and reason. By following the golden mean, developing virtues, and aiming at our telos, we don't just act morally, we become moral people.